G'day everybody, Uncle Jojo here from Beowulf Builders. Today we've had the pleasure of coming down to Australian Sustainable Hardwoods. Today I've got with me Daniel, and Dan's going to run through with me the different hardwoods that we've got in Victoria on the eastern side.
Yep.
On the eastern side of the forests, and we'll go through the different procedures they go through at this mill and different treatment plants and different cuts and all of that jazz. G'day Daniel.
G'day Joe, thanks mate.
Thank you very much for having us down.
No, you're welcome, thanks for coming.
So tell us, how long have you been in the industry for?
Most of my life actually. I'm a third generation hardwood sawmiller.
Wow.
Dad worked in forestry in Tasmania.
Okay.
My grandfather and his dad actually were involved in the red cedar forests in New South Wales. Yeah. Harvested red cedar, cleared land for farming, and then built ships out of red cedar.
How's that?
Yeah, so I've got a bit of a history.
Yeah. New South Wales, Tasmania, Victoria, East Coast. You own it.
East Coast timbers. Yeah, that's right. So we're Australian Sustainable Hardwoods.
Yep.
We are Victorian ash timber mills, which is mountain and alpine ash, eucalyptus regnans and delicatensis. We're the largest hardwood mill in Australia. We've got 155,000 cube of timber in total, and that's brought into us every year, which is an agreement that we've got with Vic Forest.
I was just about to ask that.
Which is obviously a government body.
Yep.
Vic Forests are in control of the regeneration and harvesting of our resource.
Yep.
And they're constantly reassessing to make sure that that volume is sustainable.
Yeah, right. Because didn't the DSE used to do that, and now that's changed just recently in the last?
Yeah, Vic Forests have actually done such a brilliant job. They've been asked to take over the western part of Victoria as well.
Yeah.
They've been widely recognised for doing it.
Do you get delegated a certain area?
A little bit more complicated. So if you picture all of Victoria, less than half of Victoria is actually forest.
Right.
More than half is farmland, residential, commercial property.
Yeah, right.
So less than half is forest. Of that forest, I'll draw it in form of a bit of a graph. If you picture, let's say that this much here is residential and farmland.
Yep.
This is the forest area.
Yep.
Of that, 6% is available for mixed use from Vic Forest, for harvesting, for fall driving and camping, and it's managed by Vic Forest. Of that 6%, it's harvested and regenerated on an 80-year rotation.
Okay.
So 0.075% is harvested every year.
Wow. Yep.
It's a fraction of what everyone thinks it is.
Yep.
It's I don't think this pen's even
small enough
to so that level is being reassessed on a yearly basis.
Yeah,
so the big bushfires that we had, some of the area that was scheduled for harvesting was taken out, so they had to take that into the future sustainability volume.
Wow.
So it's constantly changing.
Yep.
Of that 0.075%, they're replanting that every year as well.
Right.
2014, we planted 400 million seeds in the 1 year. So they're always planning what they're taking back, and we know it's truly sustainable.
Okay.
Before they harvest, there's a team that goes in and surveys the flora, fauna, silvicultural, historical and cultural value. So if there's an Aboriginal site that wasn't noticed before, they have to go back and replot that and remove that. If there's an old mine, something that's of any cultural value that jeopardises what they had planned for harvesting, they have to reschedule.
Right.
So we get our resource from them. It's predominantly harvested over the summer period when it's drier and you can get machinery into the forest.
Yep.
So we get up to 60 B-doubles of timber a day in summer. We get none in winter.
Okay.
So we have to try and stockpile over summer, and then as winter goes, we start depleting our actual stocks, and we'll go through that when we go over.
Great. When we have Vic Ash or Australian mountain ash, we need to heat up or fire up the seeds to get the rejuvenation process going.
Yep.
You were just saying before about planting. So is it a planting process, or is it actually you have to, how does it work?
Combo of both. Each of the areas are separated by coops, what they're called coops.
Oh, yep.
So they're small plotted areas that they've approved for all those factors. Yep, it's okay to go and harvest. They only ever keep them now in Victoria. We keep them in small coops. They harvest the trees, they leave the bark, the branches, all the nutrients.
Right.
They set fire to that area, which mimics the natural process of bushfire in Victorian forests, that leaves an ash bed.
Right.
And that ash bed's usually where the seeds fall,
Right.
and it leaves a lot of nutrients. They compete for sunlight and they grow.
Yeah, right.
So what happens, we collect the seeds from that small coop.
Yep.
We keep them aside until we're ready to replant again, set fire to the area, leaves that ash bed, plant the seeds,
Mhm.
and then they compete for sunlight.
And then does somebody go in there and thin it out or anything, or does it just get left and...
Not in our forest.
Okay,
No,
yep,
no.
yep.
The trees grow too quickly then. It is done in some areas and it works with a lot of species, but not with the alpine and mountain ash.
Is that because if they grow too quickly, they lose their density and strength? Okay.
Correct. And durability.
And durability,
There's some imported timbers coming into the country now, which were seedlings, the mountain and alpine ash.
Yep.
And they've grown too quick.
Yep.
They're grown and harvested within 30 years, but the timber is like
No good.
balsa wood.
Yeah. When I was talking to our friend Dr. Tony Page, he was explaining to me that overseas the eucalypt is actually a weed, but as you were just saying, it becomes soft and much more like balsa wood.
And some of the species, I was only just explained this by the CEO the other day, some of the species, they draw a little picture, I guess. As they grow, they've got little branches all down the side of them.
Yep.
Now, if they're thinned out as they're growing, they're going to grow really quickly.
Right.
And what that means is those branches go further up the timber.
Right.
Once they get to a certain age, these branches all fall
off. Yeah, right.
Which means that the timber, as it starts to thicken out, you get quality timber because those branches result in defects within the timber.
Yep. Okay.
So if this was only allowed to grow here because of the density, because there were so many trees nearby, all competing for nutrients and soil, it doesn't grow up so quick, which means the branches are limited to the bottom end before it grows. So there's a number of reasons why.
Right.
On top of that, we leave the same seed mix in the forest for biodiversity.
Right. Okay.
So we don't have a big fence up and say the kangaroos can't come in and out. We leave the forests as they are.
Yep.
And I guess a testament to that is that a lot of people travelling through a 30-year-old forest think that it is an old, ancient forest. So that's how well managed it is.
So then if we have a wattle tree or something like that, the Australian wattle or whatever, it's all grown. It's not cut off to be just mountain ash, sorry.
Yeah, well, most the areas that we're involved in is predominantly mountain and alpine ash. There's not a lot of species mixed within that yet. Okay. Some of the eastern half of Victoria will have multiple species, like your messmates and ironbarks, and we don't have that in